Tesla mounted a meaningful rally up almost 5%. Is it an aberration? No.
At Porsche, when they have to do a software update, you have to actually take your car in. So it's not a standard in the industry to have over-the-air updates, although several of the companies have that. Most don't.
We like Tesla here. It still looks cheap. The way we look at cheapness, we look at price earnings relative to growth, which is the way you should be looking at stuff.
All that and more. So let's get to it. Well, looky here. Tesla stock is at $252.91, up almost 1% in the pre-market. I suppose some individuals found out that recall wasn't really a recall. Or could the stock move be predicated on the next-gen Optimus bot? Absolutely astonishing. Either way, I was able to offload those calls for a little over a G a piece. Had I held on to them till today, I would have made some more money, but I mean 100% gains. Can you really argue? No need to be greedy, as we will be exercising our 135 call today, another 100 shares at the low price of $135 per share. Needless to say, it's been a good year for Tesla at over 110% gains. Can this possibly continue?
This was not a market led by the Magnificent Seven. Apple caught a very bullish piece of Wall Street research, yet the stock did nothing today. Amazon got slammed off 0.95%, even as we're hearing nothing but good things about the holiday season. Alphabet took it on the chin, down about 0.5%, despite Justin Valiant's exciting generative AI tease. Advertisers have been fleeing Twitter, now X, for Meta platforms. But that stock still also fell nearly 0.5%, down a lot more at one point. Microsoft probably has the most solid portfolio of software out there, as well as huge investment in the pioneers at OpenAI. But its stock plummeted 2.25%. NVIDIA, the king of the semis. But the times they are changing, stock did next to nothing today. Only Tesla mounted a meaningful rally up almost 5%. Is it an aberration? No. It's an explanation. On the last conference call, Elon Musk bemoaned how higher interest rates were causing a slowdown in car purchases. But yesterday, when Jay Powell effectively ended his historic tightening cycle, he changed everything for the stock market. Now rates are going down again. Tesla's biggest worry? Well, I got to tell you, it is gone.
People are still buying these cars, ladies and gentlemen. With the rates going down, the total addressable market only widens. For a variety of reasons, 2024 is setting up to be a huge year for Tesla.
Tesla is adjusting its autopilot and auto steer software. This after federal regulators from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration found its features are able to be easily misused. Tesla does not agree with those findings, but it will, quote, recall more than 2 million cars. Now, that's pretty much every car that Tesla has ever built. But there is a big but here. This is not a traditional recall where you drive your car back to the dealer, leave it there, they can fix something. This will be fixed with a relatively simple software update, kind of like when you update your iPhone software to fix a small problem. So the news did not hit Tesla at all. But some of the headlines out there, honestly, got it kind of wrong. So maybe it makes it worth discussing more. Joining us now is Gerber Kawasaki President and CEO Ross Gerber. And I'm not throwing water on any competitors or anybody else in the media, but when I think for most consumers, when they see the word recall, they assume something more serious than a software update.
Yeah, and I think it's time we maybe update the language at the NTSB after maybe
Yeah.
100 years. You know,
Yeah.
so
Your
it's
horse has
really
been
just-
recalled because his hoof fell. I mean,
Right. We've got a hoof problem here, and so like to me, it should be called what you called it, an update. It's a mandatory update. That's what it is. What I think the real issue is, and just to be straight, you know, Tesla was down 5 or 6 points, and it rallied because the market rallied, and it did help Tesla get out of the red today. But the stock was down, and if it weren't for the Fed, it would have stayed down. Because what I'm concerned about is the continued assault on this software, and the more safe they try to make it, the harder it is to develop it, and the less people will be using it, and it just holds back the technology. I use it all the time, and it has a lot of safety features in it.
to be clear, what they're talking about is the auto steer feature may not work as advertised. I mean, these are serious things, like hands on the wheel, right? Don't fall asleep while the car's in the New Jersey Turnpike kind of stuff. But it also apparently can be fixed fairly easily. I think you're exactly right about they've got to figure out a way, especially as EVs get more prolific and they just become rolling computers, to update the language so that consumers and investors truly understand what's happening. It's not like you bring my BMW in because the brakes are going to fall off.
Right, but like at Porsche, when they have to do a software update, you have to actually take your car in. So it's not a standard in the industry to have over-the-air updates, although several of the companies have that, most don't. So, it is unique to Tesla that they're able to solve problems so simply. But I do think it is very misleading when media runs headlines like 2 million cars being recalled. It certainly infers that there's a negative financial impact to this, and there isn't. So I think most stock owners of Tesla know this, but I still think that it's an issue.
I thought I'd beaten this into the ground, but apparently not. I was on Discord encouraging my to buy Teslas just willy-nilly. You throw it at the wall, you see if it'll stick. One of the individuals came out and said, "Did you get your recall yet?" in an obvious attempt to throw shade. Well, your boy had to do some educating. It shouldn't, but it absolutely amazes me how many people actually read a headline, form an opinion without going deeper into the article, and live their life in that particular ignorance. But like I told that individual, men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. Most of the news media is trying to instill fear, uncertainty, and doubt in order for you to click on that headline. But the onus is on you.
Well, you might have somebody at home thinking about getting a Tesla, and they go, "Oh, you know what, honey?
You're right.
They just announced a huge recall. I'm going to go look at the Audi e-tron."
Granted, the media must call Tesla for comment, as you guys do every time. And what does Tesla say? Nothing. So why would the headlines?
They don't have a media communications department.
Right. So why would the headlines be correct? How would the headlines be correct if they don't correct them? So then you have me on TV, and we try to get the right information out to consumers and to viewers and to investors. But Tesla doesn't do this. So why?
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, Ross, because they don't need to. Tesla will produce 1.8 million vehicles this year. 1.8 million vehicles. That's around the whole world. Approximately half of which will be in the United States sold domestically. If Tesla was selling 6 million cars, 8 million cars, and the ignorance is still strong, then yeah, they would combat this a little more readily. They would advertise. Guys like Ross want to put the cart before the horse, but we've not reached our destination yet. 1.8 million worldwide. That's still small potatoes in the grand scheme of what Tesla's trying to achieve. 20 million vehicles per year. If somebody wants to buy an Audi or a Mustang Mach-E because they hear Tesla has a 2 million car recall and doesn't dig deeper, realizing it's an over-the-air software update, something the entire industry is failing to do, especially at Tesla's level, well, quite frankly, they deserve that Audi. They deserve that Mustang Mach-E.
They're the only company in America that functions this way. And so what I say to Tesla back as an owner, how is it okay that every day the headlines are misleading about what's happening at your company, but you don't make any effort to like fix the problem.
This is why I love investing in the company. This right here is why there's so much volatility in Tesla. I know where the company's gonna be in 10 years, but if someone needs to be handheld into the future, good luck, brother. When I first started investing, this is the type of company I was absolutely looking for. Literally the best kept secret in plain view. It's part of the Magnificent Seven, yet it's so polarized because Tesla doesn't give a damn what the weak minds in the financial news media think about their company. Actions speak louder than words. But as Trinidad James is fond of saying, don't believe me, just watch.
We've got the Russell leading the charge in the day 2 FOMC rally. Some mega caps left behind. Not Tesla, though. Apple's also making a high, but Tesla's the clear winner. Up 3.5% this morning so far, trading more like some of the beaten down smaller caps, strangely enough. Let's bring in Gary Black, joining us from the Future Fund. He's managing partner, Tesla Bull and Fed Dove, and you certainly got that second part right. Gary, welcome back. Tell me what you think about the Fed's policy and how it informs your strategy.
So we think the Fed, clearly signaled that inflation is dead. And that they will start cutting rates, probably March. I think now that 80% chance. And obviously, as rates come down, we're at 3.95 on the 10-year today. That helps long duration growth stocks like Tesla because the future earnings are being discounted at a lower rate. So we like that. The reason we like Tesla here, and there's a bunch, but one is we think auto gross margins are bottoming. Even though you've seen some inventory discounts, you haven't seen any more configurator discounts, as we talked on, where they actually cut the price when you build something new. You got the Cybertruck, the halo effect. So when people see the Cybertruck in the store, they walk in, they can't get it, they order a Model 3 or they order a Model Y. We saw that back in 2021 when the Model Y came out. You had a huge halo effect for the whole franchise. And then you got the EV credit, which goes off invoice in about 2 weeks. That'll apply to the Model Y. You don't have to wait for the tax anymore. And it'll apply to the Model 3 Performance, but not the Model 3 rear-wheel drive or the long range, because the batteries are sourced out of China. And then the last thing is, you guys, the $25,000 vehicle.
What?
They've been talking about that coming in 2025. My guess is they're gearing up for that. They're not going to announce it before it's ready because you don't want to cannibalize the Model 3. But I think that's going to come late in 2024, at least first produce. And that's going to be huge because you're going to basically go after that, mass segment that Tesla has always coveted. And that'll be, that's where you're going to get 5 million EVs by 2030, is that $25,000 car.
It will be significantly higher than that by 2030. My guess is closer to 18 million. Well, I guess we'll just have to see. I do agree with Gary, though, that in the later half of 2024, we will see the first of the Model 2 vehicles rolling off the lines in Giga Texas. Giga Mexico should be coming online right around 2025 as well. The amount of this next-gen vehicle being pushed out, we thought they produced the Model Y fast. I can't wait to see how fast these things start exiting the factory.
We like Tesla here. It still looks cheap. The way we look at cheapness, we look at price earnings relative to growth, which is the way you should be looking at stuff.
Ding, 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 ding. Tell him what he's won, Johnny. Your mother. Right. Another reason why Tesla is so polarizing is because it's just a car company, right? Wrong. Automotive stocks don't grow like this. You just can't use a cookie cutter multiple that you would use for Ford and GM and apply it to Tesla and expect it to work. Get the out of here.
And on a price earnings basis, it's trading about 58 times 2024, but it's growing at 35% a year. So you compare it to an Apple or you compare it to a Microsoft, it looks cheaper than those. So we still like Tesla here.
Connect that macro into Tesla for a moment. The valuations compared to the mega caps, or the performance rather, is what stands out to me. Whereas Tesla, like this morning, as an example, it trades more like some of these interest rate dependent smaller caps in a way than it does the mega caps, with so many of those giants at records all-time highs. Tesla, of course, is nowhere close to its $415 high from back in late 21. What do you make of the way the market seems to categorize it in that way, Gary? Like, does Tesla really need like an injection of liquidity into the economy?
I think it does in the sense that if you've got lower interest rates, that means you've got lower loan payments. And just like, the home builders, when your loan payments go down as and a car is a $50,000 purchase. So if your loan payment's $1,000 a month and now it's going to be $900 a month, you're going to have more demand. And it's something Elon's talked a lot about on the conference calls. He has said that because interest rates were going up, they had to cut their prices to keep loan payments the same. Now, I'm not sure that was the right strategy. I mean, you could have just brought down the loan payments as a manufacturer, but Tesla didn't do that. But now where you've got interest rates going down, you have much less risk that you're going to have Elon cut price again, just as he's done all year. So if you look at earnings estimates for Tesla, they're down 40% year to date. If you look at either 23 or 24, because they've cut the price of Tesla. Now you got everything going the other way. You got interest rates going down, so there's much less risk that you're going to have further price cuts. When we get into the end of the year, you got all these distortions though now, because again, as I talked about, the Model 3, the rear wheel drive in the long range, which is 90% of the volume, is not going to have the $7,500 credit on, but the Model Y, which is priced about $5,000 or $6,000 more, will. So you're going to have these weird situation where after that $7,500 off invoice credit, the Model Y is going to be cheaper than the Model 3. My guess is they'll take the Model Y price up rather than cut Model 3 more. But that's 2 weeks from now. But that'll be good for the stock.
Like the string of cuts we went through, if things play out the way the macro is geared up for right now, then we shouldn't have to see any more price cuts, right? Unless they really need to undercut the competition or something.
Which they don't. I mean, if you can buy
like
a Model 3 today for $35,000, you can buy a Model Y for $45,000. If you ask why people don't, if you ask people who are internal combustion engine owners why they don't buy Tesla, the number one reason is because they think it costs too much. Okay, and if Tesla would just even spend a little bit of money communicating with folks that, hey, after this EV credit, you can get into a Model 3 for $30,000. You can get into a Model Y for under $40,000. That would be a surprise to a lot of people. So we've advocated they should spend some money on advertising for a long time.
You can't put the cart before the horse. 1.8 million vehicles in total worldwide. They just don't have the production necessary to advertise right now. Wait until their production gets above 3.5 million, 4 million. Maybe, just maybe, they might have to advertise then. What you're proposing will blow out their demand, which you want, but the price at these production levels will vault to unprecedented levels. Honestly, the audacity. Elon, you're doing it wrong.
1.8 million units this year. Our forecast is 10 million by 2030.
That's pretty low. My bear case by 2030, at least 5 million more than that.
Is by communicating with people how affordable it is, how easy it is to charge, how easy it is, the lower cost because you don't have to put gas in your car, the safety record. If you drive a Tesla at 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, the performance is huge. All they need to do is communicate those benefits to ICE owners, and you're going to get a lot more sales.
All in good time, Gary. All in good time. In conclusion, Jerome Powell does it again. Did not expect him to be that dovish, but definitely lifted Tesla out of that recall slump they had in the market for no reason. A recall that is an over-the-air software update, mind you. Ross Gerber and Gary Black are incredible Tesla bulls, but even some of the best of us want to put the cart before the horse, like we know better. Elon, you're doing it wrong. That's all I got for you today. Be easy. Peace.